June, the soul's call is our theme for June. And today's topic is lean into the discomfort. Lean into the discomfort. So I looked up the definition of discomfort. And the definition is anything that is disturbing or interferes with comfort. Anything that is disturbing to or interferes with comfort. And the origins of discomfort is discourage, pain, to sadden, and grieve. So I thought grieve was interesting, that grieve would be there, right? And when we think about our soul's call and where we're not answering our soul's call, I imagine the soul kind of grieving a little bit because the desire of the soul is to be expressed through us. Yes? So can you think of a time when you felt discomfort? Anyone think of a time when you felt discomfort? I see some hands. Yes. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook Live or who will watch us later on, can you think of a time when you felt discomfort? We've all felt discomfort. We all have. I felt discomfort today, right? I felt some discomfort today. So sometimes our feelings of sadness and discouragement is really discomfort in disguise, right? I have a friend, whenever I speak to her, she tells me, I say, how are you feeling? She says, I feel kind of sad. I feel kind of sad. And maybe that sadness is some discomfort of something that is seeking to be expressed, right? Are we grieving our unexpressed true self? Is that what we're grieving? Our unexpressed true self? So have we become comfortable with not being who we are? Have we become comfortable with playing small or shrinking ourselves or dimming our light for whatever the reason? Have we become comfortable doing that? And what does it take to disturb that comfort? Something usually comes, right? When we think about our spiritual growth, when we think about the times that we have learned big lessons, they usually come wrapped up in a pretty bow of pain and discomfort. It's rare, it happens, but it's rare that we really get the lesson through things that are pleasant, right? We can, y'all. It's not impossible, but our human conditioning oftentimes have us experiencing those growth pains through pain and discomfort. So like Reverend Penny said, for many of us, it takes pain and suffering to wake us up. So Carl Jung says, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. And I'm really one of those people who believes comfort is kind of overrated. I'm not big on, comfort, really. It's a little overrated. And so a lot of times I feel most comfortable when I feel some discomfort because it keeps me alert and aware. It keeps me in a place of looking, of seeking, right? It keeps me from just going with whatever is happening. Discomfort keeps me a little bit on the edge. Yes? So I love the way that CSL describes this month's theme. Jean, you could put up that slide. They said, CSL said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. The soul's call is this deeply intimate, challenging, exponentially powerful and globally beneficial work we are invited to do daily. Globally beneficial because when any of us awakens, it affects and evolves the global consciousness. Thank you, Jean. So yes, awakening is uncomfortable, but we have a global responsibility to do so. So it's not just about us. It's about the world. It's about the world, right? It's about awakening to our work. It's about awakening to our work that the world needs. And I talk about this very often because what else is there to talk about? When you get down to it, what else really is there to talk about than us being the true selves that we are and expressing that in the world because the world needs it, right? Globally, global consciousness, yes? So yes, it's uncomfortable, but imagine if the change agents of the world waited until they felt comfortable and waited until all the conditions lined up nice and neatly for them before they took any action. Imagine that. Just imagine that. Imagine if Harriet Tubman said, I'm going to wait until the conditions are perfect, like, good weather and certainty before she became a freedom fighter. What if Reverend Martin Luther King waited until things calmed down before he marched? What if Tarana Burke waited to say "Me Too" in 2006 to raise consciousness of women who had been abused? And that lit the flame for a social movement against workplace sexual harassment and violence towards women. What if they all waited until they felt comfortable? Imagine the world. We talk about global consciousness. Imagine if they waited. Slide, please, Jean. So if humanity is to awaken to its spiritual magnificence and a world that works for all, our discomfort must become our guru. Individually and collectively, we must dive deeply into the areas we shy away from. And that could be politics, privilege, Black Lives Matter, spiritual activism. What are you shying away from? Thank you, Jean. What are you shying away from? That very thing that you are shying away from is the very thing that you need to embrace. Some of us think, I don't know what that is. What are you shying away from? That is the thing. That is the thing for you to embrace. And yes, it is uncomfortable. And we're leaning into it. We're leaning into that discomfort. So like Harriet and Martin and Tarana, we can't wait. We can't wait until the conditions are perfect. The beautiful song that James and Julie sang, what if I could do, what if I did, what would I do if I knew I would not fail? What would I do if I knew I would not fail? Trust in the hero in me. Oh, I love that. Trust in the hero in me. What would I do today if I was brave? So transformation is the running mate of discomfort. Just like pain and discomfort are cousins, kissing cousins, transformation and discomfort, they hang out together. They are partners, right? We see evidence of that in nature, right? Transformation, discomfort. Just ask a butterfly, how did it feel going through its metamorphosis through the cocoon? The butterfly's not going to say, oh, it was easy breezy, another day in the park. No. Ask a baby chick what it felt like to break its shell, right? For the transformation to occur, there's going to be some discomfort. I love this woman. I just discovered her, but I hear she's all the rave, but I'm late to the party, I guess. Her name is Lovey Ayayi Jones, and she calls herself a professional troublemaker. I love that. And so she has a book called I'm Judging You. The Do Better Manual. And she talks about being a domino by leaning into discomfort and then letting the dominoes fall. You ever stacked up? When I was a kid, I used to do that all the time. Stack up the dominoes and then lean into the first one, push that first one, and then watch all of the rest of them just fall, right? They call that what the domino effect, right? We even have a word, a scientific word for it, the domino effect. Well, that first domino is the discomfort. And if we want anything else to happen, then we gotta knock that first domino down, right? One hit one chain, next chain, next chain, next chain of events. Yes? So what would be the domino effect of leaning into the discomfort of your soul's call? What would be the domino effect of that? Can you imagine? What is the first domino that would need to fall in your life? Is it doubt, uncertainty, shame, guilt, unforgiveness, even contentment? Even contentment. Does that need to fall? So consider what needs to be sacrificed in order to maintain comfort. So much is sacrificed to maintain comfort, to maintain the status quo. And all we have to do is look out into the world and see that the efforts that are made to maintain the status quo. So what is it that you are not speaking in the name of comfort? When you're out and about in the world and you see something, do you give voice to it? Or do you choose to stay in comfort, to stay in the status quo? What is it that you're not doing in the name of comfort? What is it that you're not accepting in the name of comfort? And what are you accepting in the name of comfort? What are you foregoing in the name of comfort? What are you not healing in the name of comfort? What are you not giving and what are you not receiving in the name of comfort? Leaning in requires a shift towards the thing that is at the cause of the discomfort. Lean into it. Lean all the way into it and let that first domino fall. Because the cause of the discomfort is our soul's call to be our true self. Lean into your soul's call. You know, I love the book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. And it tells a story of a person named Ordinary who lives in the land of the familiar. And Ordinary wakens up one day from a dream about his gift, right? His soul called to him in a dream. And so Ordinary was faced with the choice to either stay with comfort, stay with that which is familiar to him, or face being uncomfortable, face leaning into the discomfort by going for his dream to give his gift in the world. And those of you who have read the book know that Ordinary chose to lean into that discomfort, to knock down that first domino. And by doing so, he was able to give his gift to the world. So are you living in the land of familiar? Are you willing to leave the land of familiar and comfort? Are you willing to leave? That's the most important question. Are you willing to leave? Not if you're ready. Because how often do we really, truly feel ready? Most of the time, y'all, I don't feel ready. I don't feel ready, right? And a lot of times that's where we stop. Oh, I'm not ready. So we stop. And then we go back to the land of the familiar. But all that is asked is that we be willing, right? Because, ready is overrated too, y'all. Being ready is also overrated. So I read this book, Draw the Circle, a couple of months ago. And it's a 40-day prayer challenge by Mark Batterson. And I love that he has a chapter called Go, Set, Ready. And I just want to share a little bit with you as we think about leaning into the discomfort. He writes, "You'll never be ready. I never have been ready, and I'm sure I never will be ready for anything that God has called me to do. This does not mean I haven't prepared myself. I worked hard getting an education, but I've come to terms with the fact that I'll never be ready for anything God has called me to do. And that's okay. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call." I love that. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call. There is an old adage, ready, set, go. We're all familiar with that, right? Ready, set, go. And I know it's predicated on the importance of preparation, but I think it's backwards. You'll never be ready. You'll never be set. Sometimes you just need to go for it. So he says the sequence of faith is this: go, set, ready. Go, set, ready. I think about Moses, right? Imagine if Moses waited until he was ready. Moses had some stuff with him. You know Moses, right? Yes. So Moses, he's the perfect example of someone leaning into his discomfort. Moses had a speech impediment. He wasn't an eloquent speaker, right? And so when God said, go tell Pharaoh to free my people, Moses was like, me? Don't you see I have a speech impediment? I can't go talking to the Pharaoh. I got to read this to y'all. So this is from the book of Exodus. Now, when the Lord spoke to Moses in Egypt, he said to him, I am the Lord. Tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything I tell you. But Moses said to the Lord, since I speak with faltering lips, why would Pharaoh listen to me? Then the Lord said to Moses, see, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet. You are to say everything I command you, and your brother Aaron is to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 and Aaron 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. So not only did Moses have a speech impediment, he was 80 years old, y'all. He was 80 years old. But God said, go do this. His soul called, go do this. And everything that needed to happen was taken care of. Aaron will speak for you. Aaron will be your voice. So whatever it is that you need, if you think you have an impediment to doing that thing, I'm telling you right now, that spirit will provide everything that you need to be able to do that thing. Maybe it's partnering up with someone else, like Moses partnered up with Aaron. We won't know because we still got that first domino standing there. We haven't knocked it down yet, right? So it's time for us to move. It's time for us to step into our divine assignment. We have no excuse, y'all. If an 80-year-old man with a speech impediment went and through him told Pharaoh to let my people go, then what is your excuse? What is your excuse to freedom? We're talking about freedom. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We have our marching orders, y'all, just like Aaron and Moses did. So will you stay in the comfort or will you lean into the discomfort? Will you remain bound? Will you remain bound or will you free yourself? Will you free yourself? It's not easy to release the perceived comfortable security of the known. The known is quite cozy, isn't it? With the uncertainty of the unknown. There is uncertainty in the unknown, right? Slide, please, Jean. But W.H. Murray said, the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision which no one could have dreamed would have come their way. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Jean. All sorts of things. You knock down that first domino and all sorts of things will start to happen that you don't know right now, right? But all it takes is making that commitment and knocking it down, knowing that providence is there with you. So we don't need to feel comfortable before we do that which is uncomfortable, right? Stop allowing whatever you see as your impediment stop you from doing what is yours to do and from answering your soul's call. I'll give you another example. So we got Moses, right? Freeing the people. And then we got me on roller skates. Same thing. So I went roller skating last week. I haven't been on skates in probably 30 years. But in my mind, I am like the roller skating goddess. In my mind, right? I get to the roller skating ring, got the skates on. I'm there with some of my girlfriends. We're celebrating one of my girlfriend's birthday. And everyone is talking about how afraid they are to get on Because we all grown women, all right? We all afraid to get on get on the skating ring to skate around. And so I'm standing up and I'm feeling pretty good because I'm standing up on the skates and they're all sitting down, right? No one has like ventured out there yet. And I'm watching the children go by on the skates and they're falling and they're getting back up and they're, doing their thing. And I said, I'm going to get on this skate ring. I don't care that I feel uncomfortable and wobbly, right? Because if I just keep standing there looking at people skate around having fun, then I ain't going to go nowhere. I would have just been there with skates on, and that's it. Did I go to the skating ring just to put skates on and stand there? No. Did you come into this world with your gifts just to have your gifts and not share them? No, right? So I got out there on the skating ring and I was not the skating ring goddess as I had imagined in my head, and that's okay. I only fell one time and I got back up and I kept going around. But it was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. But the longer I did it, the more comfortable I became, the more confident I became. I don't think I actually ever became comfortable, actually. I just became more confident. I became more confident about it, right? And, we was out in Long Island. I found a skating ring in Yonkers. So I am about that skate life this summer. That's what's going to happen this summer. Because I will be that goddess, that roller skating goddess that I imagine in my head. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, yes, I will. So it doesn't matter. Moses freeing, you doing what God said and freeing the people. Rev Melissa at the skating ring, skating around. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, big or small. In the mind of God is all one thing. It's all one thing. Just get moving. Just get moving. Go, set, ready. So Spirit has already given you the order to move. Are you willing to follow Spirit's lead? Are you willing to go, set, ready? Are you willing? So I love this author. She's a clinical psychologist, and she wrote the book, The Conscious Parent. And I was watching her the other day because she was talking about pain and discomfort. Her name is Shafali Tisabari, and I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, but she wrote The Conscious Parent. Slide, please, Jean. And this is what she says about pain. I no longer see pain as something so dark and dire and disruptive, something to be avoided at all costs. On the contrary, I see it as not only as profound, but as inevitable. And not only as just inevitable, but as intrinsic. And not only just intrinsic, but vital. And mostly as one of the most powerful portals of consciousness we can have. Remember, Carl Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. It's profound, it's inevitable, it's intrinsic, and it is vital, and it is a powerful portal of consciousness. So it's time for us to lean into that. Lean into the profound, lean into the inevitable, lean into the intrinsic, lean into the vitalness of life, lean into your consciousness and answer your soul's call. So I want to close with this. You can keep the slides, the next one, please. So what can you use as some tools, right? Well, I have the perfect tool, y'all, Wi-Fi. Oh, yes, we're going to use Wi-Fi to lean into discomfort. And Wi-Fi stands for willingness, intuition, faith, and integrity. The next slide, please, Jane. So willingness is about staying awake by staying connected to the source. You know, when your Wi-Fi goes out, what happens? If you're connected to the Wi-Fi and it goes out, what happens? You don't have any way to navigate, right? So let's stay connected to source, because then we'll have ways in which to navigate, right? Stay connected. And Michael Beckwith says, willingness takes waking up because enlightened living is our priority in life. Next slide, is intuition. Stay tuned in. Go within. Listen to that small, beautiful, loving voice that is whispering to you, right? Florence Chevelle Shin says, intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way. Some of us won't move because we want an explanation about why we got to move. You don't need no explanation. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and move, right? Your intuition is pointing the way. And then intuition is me knowing spirit as me. I said that, y'all. Intuition is me knowing spirit as me. Know thyself. Know thyself. F is faith. Take action today. You feel discomfort? Let's cheer the discomfort. Take action today. Faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. And that's from Brené Brown in her book, The Gift of Imperfection. And faith is not faith until acted upon. Put feet to your faith. And we have another way of saying that, right? Ernest Holmes said, treat and move your feet, right? That is faith. That is faith. And then I, integrity. Be your true self by being true to your true self. Be your true self by being true to your true self. Integrity simply means a willingness not to violate one's identity. Who are you? You are an individualized expression of the divine. Don't violate who you are. Don't violate it. Knock down that domino. Answer the call. Do what is yours to do. It's a global consciousness. It's about all of us. All of us. So what you do matters. What you do is important. What you do affects everyone. So don't deny it any longer. Let's lean in. Lean into the discomfort. Make sure your Wi-Fi is on, y'all. Turn on that Wi-Fi. Yes, every day, every day. So let's take that into spiritual mind treatment. Our Wi-Fi is strong. Our Wi-Fi is connected. It's connected to the source. It's connected to the source and it is powerful. And so we allow ourselves and we are willing to stay connected. We are willing, we are using our intuition, our faith, and our integrity to do what is ours to do as tools to lean into the discomfort. We are using our gifts. We are using our talents. We are using our skills to go. And we know that we don't go alone. We don't go alone. We know that we go with everything that the divine has embedded in us. And so I am knowing right here and right now that the source of life radiates through each one of us and gives us everything that we need. There are no impediments that are too great for us to overcome. There is no obstacle too great for us to overcome. And so we overcome by knocking down that first domino. And we see the effect of it. We see the effect of our soul's call in the world. We see the effect of us showing up as our gift. We see the effect because we are at the cause of it. We use our creative power. We use the creative power to source up that which is ours to do. And so just like Moses, we go forth, we go knowing and trusting that our errands will show up, knowing and trusting that freedom is beyond the place of comfort, that freedom is in the discomfort. And so that's where we go. That's where we go with confidence, with love. That's where we go with trust. That's where we go with our soul. That's where we go with each other. So I am so grateful to know that we don't travel this road alone, that we are each other's companions, that we hold a container of love for each other to share and to receive. I am so grateful to know that after this day, not one person will say, I can't do that because I don't have this. I can't do this because of something that happened in the past. I can't do this because I don't know how. We're leaning in. We're leaning into the discomfort. And we're doing it. We're showing up as our gifts. We're showing up in the possibility. We're showing up in the unknown. We're showing up in the uncertainty, knowing that the rest shall be revealed. And so as our soul calls out, it calls out with a resounding yes. Yes. Whatever that thing is, your soul is saying yes to it. Without question. There is an exclamation point, no question mark. Yes. So will you do it? Will you stand before that domino of worry, of doubt, of uncertainty, of fear, and knock it down and transform your life? Turn up your light. Expand your horizons. Live the dream that is within you. Will you do it now? So you have everything that you need. And anything you think you need, anything you think you need, you shall have it. You shall have it. But we got to take that step. We got to knock down that domino. Just one. Just one. Imagine it in your mind's eye now. See a stack of dominoes in your mind and stand before it. Stand before it knowing that you are connected to the source, that your Wi-Fi is on. All the bars are lit up. Stand before that row of dominoes and let your heart knock down the first one. It doesn't take force. It just takes a gentle leaning in. Just a gentle leaning in. Lean in with your breath and blow on it and watch it fall. And as it falls, you will be guided to the next thing. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So I am grateful. I am grateful for the presence of discomfort and pain and the message that it brings with it. It's not empty. It's not nothing. It is everything. And so knowing that everything is working together for our highest good, I release this into the law that always says yes, knowing and trusting that it is complete, that it is whole, that it is perfect, and that it cannot return void, but returns with the overflow of more. And so it is. Ashe and amen. Okay. All right. I want to close out with this. I mentioned Lovey Ayaji Jones, the professional troublemaker. She says this: being yourself can be uncomfortable because you are so much more than you are letting the world see. So remember, the one inside, your true self, is urgently seeking to be free.